Hey, early childhood educators, welcome to Human Skills Training, where we translate modern neuroscience into what actually works in practice. I'm your host, Chris Danilo, and my background is in child development and neuroscience. And for the last few years, I've been facilitating high energy, useful, and fun professional development workshops for educators like you. Enjoy this episode. I hope you learn a lot, but more importantly, I hope you do something great with it. We have Dr. Alicia Grandey, and I'm so lucky to be with you and hanging out with you today, because, well, obviously you're a professor at Penn State. You've been in this field publishing, you've been winning awards for decades, and I was lucky enough to take your class at Penn State, which I feel like really helped me shape a lot of the mission and direction of what I've done with my life and what I'm doing with my life. So that's like a cool thing that I get to be grateful for with you. And whenever our worlds collide, I feel like I just admire your commitment to the field, but also to the people in it. So just super glad to be in your orbit. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Yeah, I don't even want to ask you how long ago you graduated because that's
I'm
gonna
gonna
make,
not say.
yeah, thank you, because
I'm
that's
gonna
gonna
not.
feel super old. But I have a feeling I had both my kids and they were little.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's telling because now they're in high school and college. So there you
Which
go.
is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's so wild because I remember you being super cynical about the topic in that class, right? I think you did a paper on Machiavellianism.
I'm probably, that sounds about right.
And
Yeah.
and the topic. Are we saying what the topic of the class was?
Sure.
Okay, so it was on emotional intelligence, real or pop psychology, question
Yeah.
mark. Right?
Yeah.
And it was my attempt to bring emotional intelligence back to the science,
Yeah.
help train a new group of undergrads going out into the
Yeah.
real world, like, what to know about that. And I have had not just you, but so many others from that class, because I taught it like multiple times, right?
Yeah.
Write me and say, oh my gosh, they just made us do a workshop and it was garbage, like
Yeah. Yeah.
it was nothing
Exactly.
like what you taught us. So hi guys. You're part of the podcast now. Yeah, so it's cool. I love hearing that things carry on and make a difference because at the time, students don't always appreciate me as their teacher.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, it's hard to be challenged, man. It's
Right.
hard. And that I think was the point, right? Like the headline was like, "Hey, we're gonna like get in the weeds and wrestle with some stuff." And if your brain, I don't know, if you're not ready to have something inside you challenged, right? Because like a lot of
Yeah.
us are tying, like we tie these things to like values that we believe in, and so once it gets to visceral, it's like it's really hard. But that, which is
Right.
actually a perfect segue. When things are visceral, they can sometimes feel emotionally charged. Wow,
Oh,
the title of your book.
what is segue? Yeah,
Oh my God, that
there
was
it is.
gold.
That's the book.
We should do this professionally. I mean, that was really solid. Okay, so wait, you co-wrote this book, and
So hold it up a
it's
little higher.
oh
Higher,
yeah,
so
get in
you
there,
see her
get in there.
name. There we go.
You
There
see
we
it?
go.
Can we see? Can we see everything in here? I got to be like Jimmy Fallon. I need the
There
thing
you
where
go.
they,
Yeah, work on
he
that.
just, I need one of those.
Yeah.
Um, this is so good.
Thanks. Yeah,
It's
so it's good partially because of who this co-author is. All right. I mean, big part of it. So this co-author is someone I have known for 30 years. We met in graduate school.
yeah,
And Dina is one of those incredibly fun, intelligent people. She's got it all going on. And we were besties. And it broke my heart that she left to pursue her MBA. And I stayed on and got my PhD in this field. But the best part is
and
this
you
book
stayed
brought us,
friends with her
and we
somehow.
stayed friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like we started our own, like she was in California, I was in Pennsylvania. We didn't, every once in a while I'd have a conference and we'd touch base.
Right.
But um, but we kind of had kids around the same time and we touched base then. And then during COVID, we had more time. And so we started reconnecting
Yeah.
more regularly. But the best part is because she broke my heart and went on this different career path, she is now an executive coach. So she's doing
Mm.
all this work talking to people who have, real jobs, not like me in the ivory
Yeah.
tower, right? People who she's dealing with the real leaders, the people that are running the show and hearing the stories of what they're wrestling with and trying to help them through it. And I'm doing the science of like trying to help people figuring out what they're, dealing with viscerally
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how to deal with it. And so this book is just such a perfect melding
Yeah.
of both our friendship and our skill sets, right?
Wow.
The science practice intersection is real and
Mm.
it comes through in this book. And she brings the stories, all these connections, all these case studies.
Yeah.
So anybody reading the book will see something of themselves represented, is the hope.
So this is, I think, the thing that we need so much right now, right? Like we were just talking about, like, hey, we keep adding all of these leaves to the tree of knowledge, and that's really, really great. But like, how many of them are making their way into practice? And I think what your book does really smartly is gives like actual tactical things that people can do on a day-to-day basis in their work.
Right, right. So it's written like Dina does a lot of writing for Fortune and Fast Company. She and I have done an
Yeah.
HBR together, kind of on this similar topic. I've done a couple of Harvard Business Review HBRs, and they're all designed in the same way. It's like, what are the top 5 things you need to know? Or
Yeah.
here's the top 3
Right.
strategies. That's
Right.
how they're all written because that's all anybody
Yeah.
has time for,
It's true.
right? Give me the
Yeah.
takeaways.
Yeah.
So every chapter has takeaways. Here's the
Yeah.
5 things you need to know. And then here's like 3 things you can do today, right? Or here's 5 steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's totally how it's written.
Cool. Well, maybe it would be good to get into some of the mechanics of some of that. One of the things that is like so relevant and also kind of like just mentioned briefly here is this language of like self-care, right? Like it keeps coming up, right? Like I feel like it's a hot button word. People say it. Um, but the problem is like I just need the takeaways. Like I can't read the whole thing. Like no one has time for anything, right? Like and one of the things that you do really well in this book is you give a lot of frameworks. One of them that that I feel is like really really useful is this DARE framework. Can you talk about that and like how people like should apply something like that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think self-care is one of those terms now that people roll their eyes, right? Like it just sounds like fluffy. It
Right.
sounds selfish. It sounds
Yeah.
like something and all the books on self-care or self-improvement or whatever. And who has time for that, right? Nobody has
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So instead of self-care, we think of it more like you got to put on your oxygen mask before you put on anyone
Right.
else, right? So
Right.
it's not selfish. It is allowing you to lead
Tactical.
better, allowing you to do your work better.
Right.
The DARE framework comes from years of research that Sabine Sonnentag and many of her collaborators do on recovery from stress.
Mm.
So it's about how do you stay resilient? How do you recover from those day-to-day um, fires that everyone's
Yeah.
putting out, right? And how do you come back the next day ready to go?
Yeah.
So the DARE just is a quick and easy acronym to remember. What are the experiences that underlie activities that will help you
Yeah.
feel refreshed and ready to come
Right.
back and deal with the next day's fires?
Mm.
So they stand for detach. So you got to like
It's
remove
very
yourself
Buddhist.
from
It's very
work.
Buddhist of you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, a lot of that stuff is. I mean,
Yeah.
like we're
Fair
finally
enough.
catching on, you
Yeah.
know?
Right. Right.
And we got the science to back it up. So now people might
So
actually listen.
cool.
Yeah, so detach from work, and that means like cognitively and physically, right? So like
Yeah.
stop thinking about it, stop
Right.
doing it, stop looking at your phone, checking your email, right?
Right.
The second one is autonomy, which is, fancy word for, choose what you want to do. And
Right.
I'm going to come back to that. The third one, so DAR, R is like rest, but not like lie on a hammock eating bonbons. It just
Right.
bring your body back to homeostasis, whatever that is,
Yeah.
right? Because our stress makes our bodies go into hyperdrive.
Right.
So bring your body back to where it needs to be to feel normal.
Right.
That's different for everybody. And then the
Yes.
last is empower or engage. So basically do something that helps you feel like a whole person. You're
Right.
not just an employee, you're not just a worker bee, you're not just a leader, you're also what? What is your thing?
Right.
And so those are like four experiences. They're not activities, they're experiences that underlie successful stress recovery.
Right.
And then what you do is up to you. So
Hmm.
like I love to dance, right? So not
Right.
that's not everybody's thing, but
I
I love
mean, not everyone should dance, you know.
no, right. I also do yoga. I also play tennis, but any of these activities,
Right. Right.
I'm not doing work and I physically cannot. If I'm dancing or playing tennis, I cannot be looking at my phone, right?
Right.
I'm choosing to do those activities, right? I'm not doing something I don't like to do or that makes me stressed out. And I am even it's interesting too, like the exercise, it's like, well, I'm not resting if I'm exercising, but
Right.
your body is learning how to
Yeah.
recover better because you're getting your body healthier by the exercise,
Yeah.
right? So your
Yeah. Yeah.
body
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
learning how to handle physiological arousal better.
Right.
And then I'm feeling more like a whole person because if somebody says, well, what do you like to do? I have an answer.
Hmm.
Like,
Right.
I remember when I had little kids, people would ask me that. And I'd be like, I don't know. Like, take care of my kids,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Right. Like for busy people, like for a lot of us, the job is like, who are you? Like, I'm a director. I'm
Correct.
a manager. I'm like, well, that's so easy to fall into that for sure. But then I'm also resonating with your statement about rest because I don't know if this is going to resonate with anybody else or if I'm just like there's something fundamentally wrong with me. But like I can't sit on a beach. You know what I mean? I
Yeah, yeah.
like I can do it for like 90 seconds and then all of a sudden my brain is just like anxiety. Like it just goes straight into I need to be
You
doing
run, yeah.
yeah,
You
like
run high arousal. That's your natural
yes.
body state. Yeah.
That was, you know
Right.
what? That was in my high school yearbook. That's what they said. That's what was written in. That's not
It said
true.
you
Don't.
run high arousal.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they said. Somebody said it. I don't
Mm,
know.
okay. Yeah, no, so I actually I can sit on a beach. Like that's the one place that I can sit
Hmm.
still. Like because the waves are constantly changing. Like there's something about
Um,
the beach that actually does let me
yeah.
relax.
Yeah.
But 100% I cannot sit and meditate.
Yeah.
And every time somebody says, like my therapist,
Yeah.
you should do mindfulness, practice
Yeah.
mindfulness, I like want to flip them off, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
just like, go away.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but running can be video
Yeah.
games, can be
Yes.
all these things, right? Like they
Yes.
help you
Yep.
find yourself, they help you recenter, they help
Yep.
you feel more yourself, and they help you
Right.
celebrate your arousal.
Yeah, it feels so individual. Like I remember hearing Michael Phelps talk about swimming and how it would just calm his brain, like seeing the glitter on the bottom of the pool from the water, like somehow that like allowed him to focus and be in this like flow state, right? No pun intended. And then like for me, I'm so resonating with the act of having to be fully engaged with something. So I can't check my phone. I can't think about something else. Like so trail running is a great example of like
Right.
there's things happening and I gotta be paying attention. I have to be online, but then when I'm done, I've taken this mental break from these all these other things and like so now I can come back to it. So it's less of like a physical rest and it's more of like a mental rest for me in that situation that
Yeah.
like rejuvenates me, you know what I mean?
And it's also nature. Like there's definitely
Yeah.
research that looking at nature, even if it's just like, pictures,
Yeah.
help us recover. And again, because it's detaching, it's not work. We're enjoying, there's something calming, right?
Yeah.
Seeing green or seeing the ocean or seeing
Yes.
water. I don't know that we fully understand it, but there's definitely science that works. But again,
Yeah.
choose it. Like if someone makes you do it,
Yeah.
not gonna help. Gonna
Yeah.
make you annoyed.
Not as helpful. Not for somebody like me.
Yeah.
I'm notoriously rebellious of even my own,
I
guidelines,
might know that. I might know that. As your former teacher, I recall a rebellious streak of wanting to do your own thing. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so lucky that you agreed to this. Like, I was like, how did this, like, I don't know. This is great. You know what actually is funny is like one of the other kind of like major topics of conversation in education, and it's a lot in early education right now, is emotion regulation. And so as we're talking about like rest and recovery, like those are some things that now I'm like, okay, those are actual things that I do or that you do that help kind of like get me back to that maybe it's the wrong way of thinking about it, like getting me back to that homeostasis, or like getting me back to the place where I'm ready to approach the problem again. Like
Right.
in your book, one of the cool, like noted little takeaways that I felt was so solid was like this idea of emotion regulation is like choosing the right tool for the job.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I'm in this situation. Is swimming gonna help? Is like like if I do this, like sometimes I need to get up from my desk and I need to go create something. I play guitar, like noodle around on the guitar for like 15 minutes, and then I can come back and be like, okay, what was I doing? Like now I can get back into it.
Yeah.
Do,
And
like,
the fact, I'm just going to say, like, one
yeah,
of the
yeah.
takeaways in the book is also about how challenging it is to take that break, like to
Mm,
step away and to do that thing that to go play the
mm,
guitar. Like, I have a piano and I love to noodle around on it too, but to make myself sit down and do it, because it feels, I don't know, like our society is like, it feels like I'm being selfish or I'm being lazy,
yeah, yeah,
like I'm
yeah.
not still working. What? And I'm talking about
Right.
at night, like
Yeah,
it's hard to make ourselves do things that are good for us.
yeah.
This is actually known as the recovery paradox, right? Like when
Mm,
the more stressed out we are, the less likely we are to do the thing we need to do, which is recover, right?
man, I mean, that's just brilliant.
It's like
Like,
we convince ourselves somehow, I can't stop and take a break. I'm so stressed, right? Which is the
yeah,
opposite of when you need a break.
yeah,
But somehow we believe that that 15-minute playing the guitar isn't worth it.
yeah.
But it's
How could it be
absolutely
worth it? It's
right.
you're goofing off. It's
Right. Well,
not helpful
and
or
that
productive.
what are you going
Yeah,
to get done in that 15 minutes,
right.
really? You're
Clearly
gonna
nothing.
you're gonna respond to two emails, maybe. If you're
Objectively
lucky.
nothing. Right. Yeah.
So yeah, so take like that is golden. If you can find an activity
Hmm.
that makes you break out of the recovery paradox,
Yeah.
that makes you go, yeah, I think I want to go do that. Or you
Yeah.
get to a point where your body gets used to it, you've made it a habit, right?
Yeah.
Like so you
Right.
make yourself break out of it and do the thing. I mean, good for you. Good for you.
Hmm. So like the next thought I'm having is like those are really great things that have worked. How do we make them smaller, right? Because like people in leadership positions are usually dealing with like lots of things happening at once, and it's like, oh man, like I have a classroom of 6-year-olds that I'm not taking a break to play guitar. Like, what are you talking about? Like are there smaller like can you chip that down into smaller tools that are right for the job? Like, what else have you found out?
Yeah, I mean, there's actually research on micro breaks.
Hmm.
There was one of my former undergrads who became a superstar scientist in her own right, Ali Gabriel. She did some work with colleagues about how long of a break does it have to be to work, right? And I think the conclusion is
Right.
like 5 minutes. Like
Really?
you can get the benefit you need in 5 minutes.
What?
And the reason is because our bodies just need a moment to like rediscover how to breathe again. Like that's the
Yeah.
first thing, right? And it really like one of the things I do when I give workshops is I
Yeah.
walk them through the BRAVE framework,
Right.
which we can talk about. But the first step of like BRAVE, which is like how to react when you've been triggered, is to breathe.
Right.
And I have them like just breathe for 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I said, I know some of you might be sitting there going, oh God, this is so silly. Like, what a waste of time. And
Mm-hmm.
so just bear with me. And
Yeah.
for 1 minute, I give them a couple little tools about how to, what to focus on or whatever. And at the end, everyone just feels different. And
Yeah.
it's like you realize that you've been clenched,
Yeah.
you're like shallow breathing because when we're
Yeah.
stressed, right? The fight or flight mode is, I
Yes.
gotta run,
Yes.
I gotta
Right.
fight, I gotta do something. And when you slow down, it doesn't take more than a minute to just
Yeah.
find that breathing. And if you can do it longer, great. But
Right.
1 minute breathing and then a couple minutes of just reminding yourself why you do this, of, other practices like
Right.
gratitude
Right.
or like thinking about something that you're going to do later that you're looking forward to.
Right.
So you're getting in that right frame. There's all sorts of different
Hmm.
things you can do in the couple minutes that remain, but
Hmm.
just breathe. It's so powerful. And at the end of these
Yeah.
work, I'll ask, like, what was the one thing you're going to take away and you're going to definitely use or that helped you? And breathing is what
Yeah.
comes up.
Wow.
Here's the cool thing. out of all of our physiological arousal response, right? Like we have all this whole system that helps us fight stress, helps us fight stressors, helps us adapt to the world in a
Yeah.
way, in that fight or flight response. Breathing is one of the only ones we can control.
Mm,
We can't necessarily control our heart rate unless we're doing like biofeedback, right? Or
right.
can't necessarily control the fact that our digestive system gets less
Right.
energy moved to the other systems, right?
Right.
We can focus on our breathing, and the more we
Hmm.
practice it, the easier it gets.
That's wild. It's so interesting because it feels so like throwaway. You're like, it feels so easy to
Great.
be like, that can't possibly be true. Like, no way. Right.
Right.
But like Navy SEALs use this, right? Like, and it's
Great.
yeah,
You
I'm
got
like,
it.
how do I validate this in a way
Yeah.
that like a listener would be like, oh, maybe there's actual truth. Like, yeah, like Navy SEALs have a breathing technique that's designed around this and the timing
Right.
of it and like the vagus nerve and how it's connected to your heart. And like if you
Right.
just do this, you can actually like decrease your heart rate.
Yeah. Yeah. So our like the really quick snippet version is when you think about the fight or flight, most people have heard of
Hmm.
that, right? So that's the sympathetic nervous system
Yeah.
gets activated. Breathing out. So we breathe in really
Right,
fast to
right,
like have all the oxygen we need to run or fight. But
right,
if we focus on breathing out, meaning like breathing out longer than we're breathing in,
right,
it switches to our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the
right.
system that says we're safe, we're okay, we're gonna, we can calm down now. So it's almost a way of like tricking your body by breathing out longer than you're breathing in, of saying it's okay, you're gonna be
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah,
And that's what Navy SEALs are doing, right? They're
yeah,
doing box breathing to like
hmm,
regulate it, to feel in control, but also to kind of calm the system down
yeah,
so they're not over
right.
agitated doing their difficult work.
Yeah, because there it's like, and we all experience that when we're so energized or charged, we can, it's like so much harder to think. It's so much harder to think creatively. It's so much harder to like come up with a creative solution to solve this problem that's in front of us. Like, so just even a couple seconds of that, I feel like allows the our like tunnel vision to go away and maybe like, oh, and now I can get my confidence back and now I can start making progress on this thing and then it's a lot easier to not be panicked because I'm like solving it now. Now I have momentum and it's like, okay, now I can start moving forward and like start thinking about that. Um,
Yeah, and I think the other thing you're bringing up is, if I might put words in your mouth, is the importance of taking that minute, not just to breathe, but to kind of recognize what's going on and then to accept
yeah.
what feeling is real.
Hmm.
So I just snuck in the first three of brave. First, I don't know if you noticed
And I
that.
didn't even try. That's so great.
So you got brave, you got breathe, and then you got recognize. This is
Hmm.
a fancy term called interoceptive awareness, which basically just
Oh
means
boy.
tune in, notice how you're feeling. We often don't. We're tuned
Hmm.
out, right? So tune
Yeah.
in. And then the kicker, like this was actually the thing that I didn't fully believe until I read this science. Like I study emotion regulation, as you know, and emotion regulation is all about, controlling with your mind, like rethinking, reframing.
Right.
The evidence is there that just accepting your emotions, not
Yeah.
not working on them, not trying to change them, not trying to deceive yourself, but
Yeah.
just saying, yeah, I feel really stressed right now. And that is a completely
Yeah.
rational response to
Right.
what I'm dealing with. And there is
Yeah.
something so freeing about that. And it's, I like to describe it as emotional jujitsu, right? Like
Yeah.
instead of fighting against it, or suppressing it, or trying to fix it, or feeling guilty about it, you just roll with it. As my
Yeah.
15-year-old son says, because he's Mr. Cool, I just roll with it, Mom.
Come
Like
on, mom.
you just say, yeah, this sucks. Like
Yeah.
that I am really angry right now.
Can we
And
lean into
that,
that? Like, can we
yeah,
like lean into that for a second? Because there's so much like BS, I feel like in leadership. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just YouTube's algorithm or my algorithm or something, but like so much of YouTube leadership BS is like, I don't want to. It's like this toxic positivity thing where it's like there's no problem. You got to be bouncing back. It's like it's an opportunity. It's a problem, yeah, but it's an opportunity. Like, you know what I mean? They just like lean too fast into
Mhm.
like everything's great. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? And without that initial step that feels so important to be like, you know what, this actually totally sucks. And so now I'm gonna choose to bounce back from it, which feels a little bit more authentic and like realist. And I feel like I've been in these situations before with leaders who are like, they do that thing, that toxic positivity thing, and you know that like it's the place you want to eventually get to, but because they skip that little step in between of acknowledging the thing, it's like
Mhm.
you're a delusion. Like I don't trust you now. Like I don't trust you as a leader
Right.
because you didn't acknowledge this thing we all experience. And so now I'm crazy? Like that feels like I don't know, there's something super
Yeah.
wrong.
Gaslighting. That's gaslighting.
Right.
That's
It's
the definition
yeah,
of gaslighting.
right, exactly.
If you're denying the reality that's in front of everyone else.
Which they would never
Yeah. No,
do,
and I think
right?
what's that?
They would never do, right? They would just be like, well, of course this horrible thing happened, but it's an opportunity. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they would
Yeah.
just go a little bit too quickly, like a
I
little
mean,
too fast.
I think you're bringing up a really good point, which is about the timing of it, right? So,
Hmm.
yes, every leaders can't just immediately show every feeling that they have. Like that's not the
Yeah,
point of the book. And acceptance doesn't mean passively doing nothing or just being like, yeah, I'm really sad and just sitting with
right.
it
That's
forever.
also not productive. Yeah,
Not productive either,
yeah,
right? So it is a timing thing. And the brave framework and accepting is about just in that moment, it is perhaps less, it takes less energy to accept it is real, it's
yeah.
information, than it does to suppress it
Hmm.
or to reappraise and do the mental work, right?
Right,
Of trying to figure out the silver lining. But yes, like down the road, it makes sense that some of that mental work might be helpful, like looking for the opportunity or reframing it
right,
or finding a way to help your people
right.
recalibrate. But yeah, jumping straight to like everything's fine. I mean, we totally heard this when
Yeah,
we did our interviews for the book. We asked one of the things we asked people was like, what do you think is expected of you as a leader? Like in
yeah.
terms of what are you supposed to uh, show? What
Mm.
emotions are okay to show, basically?
Hmm.
I don't think we use the word emotions, but what are you allowed to act like?
Yeah, okay.
And over and over and over again, it was calm, cool, and collected,
Yes.
right? It's like that's how you've got to
Right.
be, seem like you're in control, like you've got it all figured out.
Yeah.
Then, right? Like you've got
Yeah.
to portray, and it's related to toxic positivity.
Right.
Um, and that is so constraining. It is
Yeah.
so hard to expect anyone to act like
Yeah.
they're calm, cool, and collected given everything going on in the world. And it's asking people to do effort that in the long run is gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
And there's years and years of research, decades and decades of research that acting, like holding down, we describe it as a beach ball in the book, right?
Yeah.
Like holding down everything you feel and ignoring it. And like, it's like holding a beach ball underwater.
Right.
You can do it. It's not hard. Like maybe you end up holding a couple of them down in a given day,
Yeah.
but it takes a little bit of attention. It takes a little bit of energy away from
Right.
other things.
Right.
And if you keep doing that, and that's the only thing you're doing because you
Right.
keep cool, calm, and collected, eventually it's going to fly up and hit you in the face.
Hmm.
And that flying up and hit you in the face will come out in a variety of ways. It'll come
Hmm.
out relationally, like you're going to fly off the handle at some employee that maybe did something wrong, but you're acting overreacting to them. You're not going to have as much impulse control in general because you've been holding back this,
Right.
even if you don't even aren't even aware of it because you're not acknowledging how you really feel about the situation. So I've got research showing it's related to heavy drinking. The more you're just holding things
Ah,
in, because you go home and you don't have any impulse control because now you can finally let it go, right? Let the
right.
all go. It's related to burnout, fatigue. It's really like work, like trust, like you said, there's evidence about lack of trust if you're just acting in a way that's
Mm,
not real, constantly.
right.
So
Which is like the
absolutely.
opposite of what I feel like leadership is supposed to be, right? Like you're building trust in relationships and like being other like there's this trend right now on I don't know if this is if you've seen this, maybe it's just my algorithm again. But there's this trend of like CEOs like like taking pictures of themselves crying about like the difficult decisions that they made or like oh we had to do this today or like this happened or like something else and like I feel like it's this attempt at being vulnerable. You know what I mean? But like it feels like I've never seen it done in a way that makes me think like wow that person really like revealed something. It just feels so phony. And it just
Hmm.
makes me feel, it just feels like a scam. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, feels so fake.
Yeah, this is like the tightrope of authenticity, right? Like how do you
Ah,
walk that line of being a real person who can be vulnerable and
yeah,
humble and real
yeah,
with people and trustworthy,
right.
but also be professional and
Yeah.
get the job done
Mm,
and own the decisions that you're making even when they're hard because that's your job as a leader.
yeah.
And that tightrope is really tricky. I know Adam Grant and Brene Brown did a great like
Mm.
debate about it on their
Oh,
it was on the Work Life podcast that Adam
okay. I'll
does,
have to check it out.
um, where they were debate like basically Adam and Brene were kind of a little bit more on two different extremes and they were
Oh,
debating it.
that's interesting.
Yeah, but in the end, it's about there is a middle ground. It is okay as a leader to show, as you said, the reality of the
Yeah.
situation if you do it in a professional way. So
Mm,
you can still be a good leader and you can still but like I have cried in front of a class and in front of a workshop before.
right.
But when I say that, I don't mean I've lost it. I
Right.
burst out sobbing and curled up in a corner.
Right.
I get a little trembly in my voice.
Yeah.
Like I'm on the verge.
Hmm.
And then I do the things that I know to do. I take a deep breath. I remind myself, okay, I'm feeling this matters to me.
Right.
And then I tell people, oh, this clearly really matters to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but but here's what we're going to do about that and move
Yeah.
forward, right? So I can show that I have feelings about something without it being weak, without it being a
Mm,
sign that I'm out of control or that I'm
hmm.
not strong enough to do what needs to be done.
Right.
And if anything, I'm showing I have the strength and resilience to show how I feel. As Brene Brown
Right.
said, it takes courage, right, to show your
Yeah.
feelings. It's not a weakness. I'm
Right.
showing like this thing really matters to me.
Yeah.
And I'm now going to, this is what I'm now going to do about it, rather than being like, oh, I'm totally fine, everything's fine. Like, I got
Yeah. Right.
and acting like we don't care. Like that's what it comes
Oh,
across.
so yeah,
I,
dismissive. That's another kind of like horrible sort of side effect or outcome is if you're dismissive and people and they're like, well, then this is not valuable to that. Like, this issue isn't valuable to this leader. Like, now what?
Yeah. Yeah. Or if employees, the other thing is that leaders are role modeling, right? They're showing
Mm,
what's acceptable. They're setting the tone, the culture
hmm.
of the organization. So if they're never showing any feelings,
Yeah.
then they're not only saying, "No, this clearly doesn't matter," they're also saying it's not okay to show feelings here. It's
Yeah.
not okay to have any feelings other than the toxic positivity, right?
Right. Right.
So now you got a whole bunch of your employees going around spending energy on the beach ball, right? Holding in
Mm,
what it is they're dealing with and maybe not telling you if things aren't going so great.
oh,
Because
right.
that would, involve having to admit you have some feelings about something.
Right.
It's like I think the number one takeaway in our book was emotions are information.
Mm,
They're information. And if your employees don't have emotions, then their work must not matter to them very much.
mm,
Is that what you want? Like, do you
right.
want like work not to matter to people?
Right.
Because that's when we're able to not have feelings. If we can just shrug and walk away, no matter,
Yeah.
that means we don't care.
Right. Right.
So if I'm upset about something that happened at work, that means it's part of my identity. It's threatening to me as a person,
Mm,
right? Because if I didn't like, why
right.
would
It's more
I care if I didn't
visceral.
care?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So like paying attention to that information, not to say we should let people fly off the handle or be, abusive, angrily or whatever, but paying attention to it as information and then figuring out, okay, now that we have this
Mm,
information, do I want to accept this information as,
hmm.
myself? Like I feel angry. Is that real? Like, processing that.
Right.
Or someone else gives me anger. Okay, they're clearly angry. What do I want to do with that information?
Right. I don't
Right.
have to be angry. I don't have to match that. Right. Yeah. That's a
Right.
whole other one. Yeah.
Right.
I
Right. And
wonder I wonder how this is related to um another piece of language that you have in this book, which I think is brilliant, which is surface acting. Now that's from the literature, and I think most of the world would call that fake it till you make it, but I don't know if that's true. So please correct me here.
okay.
Because like it seems like this really challenging gray area where we're like, oh, we gotta be authentic, but then like, oh, but we gotta be professional, but like, oh, but like, I gotta be real, but is it the right thing? And then like, there's this weird, it's like hard, right? There's no playbook. Like, is how do you define like surface acting in this kind of gray, fuzzy space?
Yeah, so I've done decades of research on surface acting, and it includes both holding down the beach ball. So whatever triggered you and the emotions you have, you're
Right.
you're holding it down, but you're also putting on the mask of whatever it is you're supposed to show. So that's what
Mm,
it's on the surface, right?
mm,
You're putting on the mask on the surface rather than doing the deeper work that we've been
right.
talking about. The emotion regulation stuff is more the deeper work.
Right.
Um, Working with whether it's your physiological response or
Yeah.
your cognition about it. So if you just put on the mask and push down the beach ball,
Right.
that's surface acting. It's not,
Got it.
sometimes people use it or they think it means something more broadly about values or
Right.
yeah, it's not that. It's
Got
really
it.
more the and the idea of fake it till you make it. I have so many reactions to that. I mean,
Good.
I think if you're like, what really bugs me is if you're like a teacher or a service provider or someone that really, it's important to maintain a certain level of um, kindness and compassion and service to your people, whether they're children or students or customers, to argue that you can fake it till you make it, meaning just keep on that smile or keep
Yeah.
being happy, even if you don't, all day long, even though you're not paid enough, people are yelling at you, you're
Hmm.
treated, you don't
Right.
get breaks, like
Right.
it's just freaking ridiculous.
Yeah. Right.
And it's based on the idea that if you smile, there's this facial feedback effect, right? There's all this
Right.
that like
Ekman. Yeah.
you
Paul
smile, it makes
Ekman.
you feel
Yep.
better. Okay, that research was based on a lab study
Right.
that was done in one moment in time.
Yeah. Right.
People looking at a cartoon and
Right.
holding a pencil in their mouth to make them smile or not
Right.
smile.
Right.
All right. That is not a 9 to 5 job,
Right.
right?
Right.
Where you're doing it nonstop.
Right.
So it's not realistic.
Yeah.
Idea of expecting people to hold on to that all day long without giving them the resources of a break
Yeah.
or positive interactions with coworkers or leaders that help build them back up again, or the opportunity to build the skills of how do you
Mm.
do the brave, technique
Yeah.
to deal with the triggers. Like there's just you're expecting people to
Yeah.
just press and fake, and that is what leads to those out,
Right.
the impulse control, the aggression. Like you don't want your people doing that for
Right.
sure.
Right. In or out of work.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
Yeah, it definitely it gets carried home and it has, I mean, I have this one study showing that hotel managers
Oh
do
gosh.
surface acting as part of their hotel manager work. So this is managers, the
Yeah.
leaders. They became more, they had more tension and more burnout. And when they brought it home, those people were more likely to not only be less helpful around the house, but their spouses were more likely to want them to quit their job.
Wow.
So like compared to people who weren't doing as much surface acting, right? Like
Right.
their spouses were like, get out of this job. You're bringing home this bad energy. You're not able to be
Holy
present.
cow.
Right? So it has effects everywhere. Our
Yo,
own
but
health.
that's a brilliant insight to be like, hey, like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, okay, it's not my problem if they get take it home and they do whatever. It's not my problem if they take it home and they react that way. Like, fine. But it might be your problem
They might
when
quit.
they quit. Yeah, like, oh
And
my
they could have a
gosh.
drinking problem, like
Sure.
they might
Not
start,
to mention,
yeah.
yeah, like, oh my gosh. Forget the human side of it. Like all of that, tied into it as well. Like, oh my gosh. So actually that's a cool, interesting thought here because we're talking about how these two worlds, these two universes of work and life are so separate and they've got this boundary between them
Mhm.
that's like sort of this impenetrable, you don't bring this here and you don't bring that there, but like we all know life is messy and that's not true and blah 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 and all these exaggerate like I'm curious about the way that you and Dina talk about kind of like boundaries in the book because I feel like every leader, here's an example that I think is super relevant. Like if you're a compassionate, experienced leader, you've run into the situation where like you've got a struggling employee. And whether that's like because of work or because of home or whatever, doesn't matter. They're in your office, there's a problem, you're fixing it. You are accountable for the outcomes here. Like you need to address this. Like, great. Now, how do you like okay, I'm going to help you, but I'm going to try to help you in a way that's like my professional help. So, like, what am I like? How do I help you from as a person, but also as a boss, right?
Yeah,
Like, you have a tool in your book, the RAP, the RAP
yeah, yeah.
framework, that may apply to this. Like,
Right, right. No, I mean, first of all, I mean, I think this is an even more common experience these days than it used to be, right? Like, I
yeah,
think to the one of the benefits of the pandemic was that mental health issues and physical health issues became like a conversation, right? Everybody's
yeah,
having a conversation about it. And that also meant more openness about like mental health challenges or depression or,
yeah,
things
yeah.
people are dealing with at home. The downside of that might be that people then are talking about things that you as a leader or as a teacher don't feel qualified to discuss.
Hmm.
And that might, you're not a therapist, you weren't trained as a therapist, but suddenly in your office, you've got a student, a kid, an employee who's talking to you about like, I'm feeling really depressed and I feel like I don't know why I'm here on this earth, and you're just like, oh my God, what do I
Yeah.
do?
Wow.
And I mean, as a professor, I've had students in my classes in my office doing exactly what you just said, like talking to me about really difficult struggles they're
Yeah.
having. So the first thing is you're not a therapist. Like literally, you're not a therapist. You
Yeah.
shouldn't try to be, you
Yeah.
shouldn't pretend to be, you
Right.
shouldn't take that on. That's not your job, that's not your responsibility. But if someone is sharing this stuff with you, it's possible they don't feel like they have anyone else that they can share it with.
Hmm.
And it's possible that they're afraid that their work might suffer and
Hmm.
they need you to know why that is. Our book also talks about like the first step of the framework you mentioned, RAP framework, is recognizing when this might be happening. So if someone is their work is starting to slip or a
Hmm.
student is starting to act in unusual ways, if you're in the education environment, recognizing those, we have like this little checklist, right? The signs of struggle, the
Hmm.
SOS checklist, right? Because rather than assuming it's the person's unmotivated or lazy, it could be that, their parents are getting divorced
Hmm.
or they're struggling with a mental health issue.
Hmm.
And starting with having that conversation.
Hmm.
So the second step after recognizing is acknowledging.
Hmm.
I've noticed some things are changing, not
Hmm.
suck, not
Yeah.
like I'm going to punish you now, but
Right.
I've noticed these behaviors
Right.
and I'm just checking in because that's my job,
Right.
you know, as your
Yeah.
boss here. And then listening, like
Yeah.
opening the door to listening. And it takes
Mhm.
time. It takes
Yeah.
emotional energy. This is again one of those challenges that
Yeah.
you have that they weren't necessarily prepared for. But the worst thing we can do in that moment is avoid the situation because
Hmm.
we're afraid we don't know what to say.
Hmm.
Or they might have feelings and I don't know what do I do if they start crying? I don't want to deal with that.
Hmm.
The best thing we can do is just be honest about that. Like I'm
Hmm.
really not sure I know how to help, but let's see if we can figure it out together. Right. So at
Hmm.
Penn State, for example, we have this red folder that has, okay, if then, right? If someone
Hmm.
comes to this concern, here's who to call. If this happens in the classroom, here's the next step.
Hmm.
Repository of resources as well. So something that people can do proactively is being aware of what resources are available, like
Yeah.
an employee assistance program for a variety of things. What's that number? Having that on hand. What are the mental health resources in the community? Having those
Hmm.
available, knowing who's taking clients or new patients. And just saying, I'm here. I'm gonna try to work with you on how to solve this problem because my job is to help you perform well
Hmm.
as a teacher, as a professor. That's my job. And
Right.
because this is clearly impairing that, I want to help you get the help you need so that you can feel like you're performing
Hmm.
better at work. And it
Hmm.
requires some amount of compassion that we talk in the book about how like to avoid feeling like you're bringing that all home, like that, all that burden of everyone
Yeah.
pulls on your shoulders.
Right.
You have to practice this compassionate detachment that doctors learn how to do if they have to deliver news that your diagnosis is dire. Like they learn how to do that in their training, and most people don't.
Hmm.
Most educators and leaders don't.
Right.
So it's not about empathy such that you're feeling everybody's feelings and crying with them.
Right.
Oh, I'm exhausted. It's caring. Compassion is not just having concern, but also acting on it.
Right.
That's the idea of compassion, is that it's an act. It's
Right.
associated with behavior. So what is the behavior you can do in that moment that someone comes to you saying they have needs?
Mm.
Is to try to help them with those needs.
Right.
That doesn't mean solve their problem.
Right.
It doesn't mean be their therapist. It
Right.
means, okay, let's see what we can do. Like what's our leave policy? Let's talk to
Right.
HR, let's
Right.
talk to the EAP.
Right.
Offering
Within the boundaries of what you can like professionally manage, like that
and then
makes sense.
outsource what you can't,
Right.
Be like, would you be like, here's some numbers. It's up to you to call them. If you would like me to sit with you while you call them. Like I have sat with students
Yeah.
who I was worried about and said, you call, I will sit with you while you
Yeah.
wait.
Right.
Because I don't want them leaving my office
Mm.
until I know they have somewhere to go,
Right.
right? Someone to
Yeah.
help. But it's not my job to
Yeah.
be their therapist.
Right.
But yeah,
That's so tricky.
it is a tricky balance, but trying to avoid those interactions. And some people do.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
they don't have a box of Kleenex in their office,
Right.
right? People don't go to them. They're not an
Right.
emotion handler.
Right. Right. And so now their radar of what is
And
happening is also wrong, right? Like there's also this delusion that's created by, but if people don't come to you with the truth, then you never get the truth from your people. And so now you have a different perception of what's going on in your company, your team, your organization. Like that's to me, I'm like, oh my God, like I just want to know. Like whatever is happening that I
yeah,
can help with.
me
Like I just
too.
want to know what the like get an accurate pulse check. So the idea that like I would do something that would create this invisible thing, I was just like, oh my gosh, that seems really counterproductive. And I think you're right. I think the default, maybe this is unfair of me, but I feel like the default is for people to avoid with like this wickedly good reframing rationale. Like, we'll solve the problem by avoiding it in this, like, a really good example. Um, you've got an educator on your team, an employee who's like, they're like, I don't know, they're doing something with they're not interacting well with parents, they're not handling challenging behavior from kids well, they're not interacting with the team productively, like they're not contributing in meetings, or they're like actively being a problem. Like I feel like one like hammer that people like managers will swing is policy. They'll be like, no more this at work. You got to have meetings that are this.
Mm.
And from now on, we start at this time, we end at that time. From now on, we do, but like they will. I had a mentor who used to say, never punish the innocent. And I just like, I love that. Like, because our instinct a lot of the time as leaders, I think, if we're trying to avoid, and maybe we know or maybe we don't know, is we'll go to the policy lever and we'll swing policy at it and be like, well, from now on, our organization only does this. And it's like, no, dude, you need to have a
Mm.
conversation. You don't need to punish the innocent who did this and that. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, you just need to have a conversation and be like present for it and like manage that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's hard. I mean, it's hard to have that conversation. It's hard as a
Mm.
leader or a teacher to find out that maybe something you've been doing isn't so great.
Yeah.
Whether that's you are doing it, or the policy's doing it, or the higher ups are doing it that you're
Yeah.
part of, you're associated with.
Yeah.
It's really hard to hear that. I mean, we
Yeah.
went through this in my program where the students had been telling some faculty that things weren't great, that they were really struggling.
Mm.
But other faculty weren't hearing it, to your point, and didn't really get it and wanted to just like push harder, like demand
Right.
more, right?
Right.
Oh, they're just being lazy, or they're,
Right.
whatever, like, blame
Yeah.
them for the problem. And we finally created an opportunity for a conversation, kind of like a town hall, if you think
Right.
politics, town hall, right? We created a town hall moment, and it was hard. It was really hard for
Yeah.
me. I care. Like, again, if you don't care, then you can just listen and be like, shrug, right? But
Right.
I'm listening and I'm like, oh my gosh, people are really struggling. Like, and
Yeah.
then it became an opportunity, though, for us to also share
Mm.
as the leaders, as the teachers, how we were struggling
Mm.
because of the situation. Like, we'd lost some faculty, so we were
Yeah.
doing more with less, like most of us are,
Right.
right?
Right.
We're
Right.
all trying to do more with less
Yes.
resources, less people, less staff, less money. And so we were also able to
Mm.
communicate to the people who were struggling how we can't do everything you think we can do just because we have a higher status position. Or it
Right.
seems like the people in power are always assumed that they can fix and solve everything. They just choose,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Right.
And so kind of having a two-way conversation of like, we would like to be able to do X, Y, and Z. We can maybe do X, Y, and Z are a little out of our control, right?
Yeah.
And that was a really great moment. And even if nothing actively changed, everyone felt
Yeah.
heard and more understood. And that made a world of difference,
Right.
in my view. And I felt the tension dissolve.
Yeah. Wow.
Right? Like, I could feel it change in the room, but we
Yeah.
had to go through it
Yeah.
to get there.
Right.
I mean, this is the hardest truth about emotions, right?
Yeah.
Their information, some of them don't feel as good as others,
Right.
right? But that information is no less valid, and in some ways, maybe even more important to pay attention to.
Mm.
But the only way to get to the learning moment of it is to
Yeah.
go through.
I know, which is so
Sucks.
uncomfortable. Come on.
Sucks. As we were talking about when we had a personal conversation, like, I was
Yeah.
in the depths. Sucked. It felt
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you get the other side and you realize things are better once you get to the
Yeah.
other side.
Yeah.
There's this great children's book, and I'll say this for people of your listeners who might be familiar with it. We're going on a bear hunt,
Yeah, dude. It's a classic. Yeah.
right? Okay, you know
Yeah. Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah.
like, and the whole thing is we're going on a bear
Yeah.
hunt. We're gonna catch a good one. Oh, we got to this obstacle,
Yeah.
right? Can't go over it. We can't go under it. We
Yeah.
can't go around it. We've got to go through it.
Yeah.
And that's like, the emotions are like that huge lake. You got to just go
Yeah.
through
Right.
and feel it
Yeah,
all.
because if you push the beach ball down long enough, something else bad will pop up.
It's gonna pop up and hit you or someone else in the.
So,
I'm taking this moment to breathe, by the way, just to model what I practice.
oh, really?
And there's a moment, like, so often when there's a pause or like we have to wait for something, we choose to look at our phones, right?
Oh
Or
my
check
God,
our
I
email,
know.
do something. And if we just take that moment to breathe, so much more productive. Okay.
It's so many things, honestly. I've been trying to leave my phone places.
Hmm.
Just like leave my phone. It's a wild experience. Try going to the bathroom in 2025 and leave your phone in the other room. It is a thrill. It is a thrill, let me tell you. Holy cow.
My kids, like, do you think you can leave like, I've been thinking about setting like a little table outside the bathrooms, like
That's
just
a
to like,
great idea. Yeah.
as a habit former,
We should sell that. I'm gonna build a little shelf. We're gonna sell it on Etsy. It's like that's actually genius. We
it
should
could have
definitely do
it could
that.
have a charging station attached. So like
Yeah.
that it gives a reason
It's
to.
like yeah, it makes sense. Why wouldn't you put it there? You're like low on battery.
It's kind of gross to think about how many tweets are done on the toilet.
True. And how much
Toilet
better off
tweets.
we would be. Yeah, toilettweets.com. I'm gonna buy that as soon as we're
All
done.
right. No, I
Ugh.
really do appreciate it. Like, you've been very validating of my frustration. So then, this is actually a funny thing. Like, when we validate someone else's feelings, it's part of the emotional acceptance experience.
Mm,
You've just told me it's valid to have my feelings,
yeah.
so I could let them go. I didn't have to keep
Right.
convincing you it
Right.
was that, which would then
Right.
make, like,
Spin
stir
the
it up,
wheels.
right? I
What a
would stay
waste
in
of
that mode.
energy.
But you just told me, yeah, it's legit that you feel frustrated. Yeah, I do feel a little frustrated. Okay, now we can move forward.
Right. That's so funny to see it just like work in practice. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Well, and this is the other thing about the book, right? So like you heard us talk about this a little bit. And the
Yeah.
last chapter, we do a little summary, right? We do like a
Yeah.
high order summary of everything. But we also talk about our experience of writing the book.
Yeah.
And both Dina and I were just going through this emotional
Yeah.
trauma in our own personal lives.
Right.
And we acknowledge that. And
Right.
we literally were practicing
Yeah.
what we were writing about
Yeah.
as we were writing it.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
kind of ironically and jokingly, like, oh, well, have you
Yeah.
tried breathing? You know?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And we were like validating each other. Like we would
Yeah.
meet every week and like go over each
Yeah.
chapter. And
Right.
10 minutes of that phone call was,
Yeah.
how are you doing? Is everything
Yeah.
okay? Oh my God,
Yeah.
how'd this go? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, that sounds horrible, right? Like, and that
Yeah.
validation, that social support, so, so, so necessary to life.
Yeah. Holy smokes. Man. All right. Well, let me wrap us up here, and get you back to your life. Um, you know, I I sometimes wonder what it's like for people like you. You have so many publications and you've written books and people like are taking your brain in various different channels.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I wonder what that would be like because I'm thinking about your brain and being like, well, what is something you wish more people knew about you, but otherwise wouldn't because they're getting these other channels of information.
Sure. Research is me search. So most of us, because part of the joy of being a scientist is you choose what you study, right?
Yeah.
You have autonomy. So most of us study something that challenges us or
Yeah.
that we want to learn more about because that's why it interests us is
Yeah.
it's something personal, you know. And I've always struggled with emotion regulation. I don't have it all figured out.
Yeah.
Start every workshop saying, I have no golden bullet. I have no,
Yeah.
I cannot solve this problem.
Hmm.
But I can tell you, I've struggled with it for many years and I've applied the science to it. And here's what I've learned. I still don't do it perfectly. I still experience emotions. I still
Yeah.
get really stressed out.
Right.
It's an ongoing process of
Mm.
learning and practicing and applying it and making it a habit. And it's not always going to work. And
Yeah.
I'm going to lose my shit sometimes. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but if I can practice it well, I think it works. And as
Yeah.
someone who, I run hot sometimes
Yeah.
and I run anxious sometimes,
Right.
it's stuff I need to learn. So that's it. I mean, I might appear to my students or on your podcast as calm, cool, and collected.
Right.
But when the shit hits the fan, I'm as messed up as anybody.
Yeah.
And I study this stuff because I feel it's important to learn and I'm still working on it.
Maybe that's the name of your autobiography. I'm as messed up as anybody.
Or the
Or
shit
maybe
hits
that's
the fan.
your first punk album. Maybe that's the title of your first punk album.
Everybody.
I'm as messed up as anybody. Alicia Grandey. That's
It's
so good.
probably more so, you know. Yeah. You worry about those
Thank
clinical
you.
psychologists and what they study, right?
I don't want to start a fight, okay? I don't want to start a fight. Thank you for your time and attention. Thank you for all the hard work you've done over your career to like help bring all of this to real people. It's so insanely valuable and like holy cow, thank you. Huge gratitude from a professional side, but also from a personal side in how much you have personally impacted me as a human being. So thank you. I appreciate you. Dr. Alicia Grandey, you're a rock star. Thanks for tuning in to Human Skills Training. If this episode sparked something, just share it with an educator or a leader who needs it. If you want to pick my brain, just drop me a line at chrisdanilo.com. See you next time.